Cape Town, South Africa. Some call it the most beautiful city in the world, and it's not hard to see why. But here, postcard-perfect landscapes collide with a past that's anything but idyllic. And depending on who you are, the Cape Town you experience can be very different. Realities so physically close to each other, yet a world away. This is Cape Town. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hello from Cape Town, South Africa. This is an absolutely amazing city renowned for its natural beauty, and I'm sure you can see why. The 12 apostles are behind me, you got all the beaches, and the sea is this amazing shade of turquoise blue. And Cape Town is an increasingly popular tourist destination. We're seeing it pop up on all these 2025 must-travel lists, and more people are coming to visit each year. But beyond the natural beauty and beyond its appeal as a tourist destination, Cape Town has a really complex and recent history that still impacts it today. So I'm really looking forward to exploring the city, getting to know some people here and talking to them, and just understanding what it's like to both live and visit here. The most popular beaches in the city are all located on this road, and it spans a couple of neighborhoods. You have Sea Point over there. We're currently in Clifton with the nice Clifton beaches below. And then if you go a little further down, that's Camps Bay, where there's a lot of swanky bars and restaurants. And I would say these are some of the most affluent areas in Cape Town. There's a lot of beautiful villas overlooking the sea, seafront condos. If you live here, life is probably pretty good for you. You're probably very fit, love to work out, go to the beaches in the afternoon. There really are a lot of great ways to enjoy the city, especially in this area. And there's a ton of nature around here as well. So you can go hiking at Lion's Head and other spots, catch a beautiful sunset. It's very beautiful.
We head down to Clifton, a stretch of 4 picturesque beaches popular with locals.
This is not bad. I would not mind having this in the city that I live in. It's a weekend, so everyone's out, and the crowd here is very young. Also in Cape Town, there's a big fitness culture, so you have a lot of very athletic people out and about. And I feel like that kind of defines the culture, especially in Sea Point, Camps Bay, Clifton, these neighborhoods. It really could be worse here. We've gotten some chairs and an umbrella, and we're just gonna hang out. But there's a lot of people playing sports, going for a swim. The beach is dog friendly, so that's really nice. So it's overall just a very nice way to spend the afternoon. So there's a few places in the world where people are just a little more attractive. It's usually at beachside cities with easy access to nature, so you can be outdoors all the time. And the weather is pretty pleasant year-round. Cape Town's definitely one of those places. Rio also comes to mind. I guess it's anywhere where you have to be in a bathing suit more than average. We are now editing this video back in California, and we're working out of an Airbnb because, let's be honest, Airbnbs are practically our second home at this point. Constant travel means that our workspace is always changing, but fortunately, as long as we have a laptop, internet, and a solid VPN connection, we are good to go. We always use Surfshark VPN, so I'm very excited to be partnering with them on today's video. Surfshark allows us to stay securely connected, which is very important because we're always hopping between different Wi-Fi networks. Public Wi-Fi, like you would connect to in cafes and hotels and Airbnbs, can be a hacker's playground. So Surfshark offers an extra layer of protection, which keeps our data safe. Surfshark also lets us set our virtual location to anywhere in the world, which allows us to bypass geo restrictions. This lets us do things like stream our favorite Netflix shows no matter where we are, but more importantly, access all the tools we need for our business, like YouTube, for example. Believe it or not, YouTube is partially or completely blocked in many countries, including some that we will be traveling to soon. The best part is that there's zero risk in trying out Surfshark because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're ready to get started, just head to www.surfshark.com/dotsonaMap and you'll get 4 extra months.
Drive south from Cape Town and you'll be met with breathtaking scenery at every turn. Lush green mountains, winding coastal roads, and quaint seaside towns. Boulders Beach is one of the most popular attractions in the region. Not for its sunbathing or surfing, but something far more unexpected.
This is the main part of the beach. You can see there's a big sandy area here where a lot of families are hanging out, but through a hole in the rocks, there is a surprise awaiting. Okay, easy peasy. Look at these little guys. They're literally South African beach penguins, y'all. And you can really hang out with them and get super close. Like, how cool is this? There's an interesting story of how these little guys ended up on this beach here. So there were no penguins here prior to 1982. And that year, just a handful of penguins landed here on shore. The number was very small. And they liked this beach because the boulders provided protection. They can go out and swim and hunt for food. It really was just the perfect environment for them. So they've been here ever since. And today in 2025, there are 3,000 to 4,000 penguins living in this area. There's an entire colony. And you can come hang out with them just like this. It's kind of fun to look for the penguins because they're everywhere, but they're hiding out in little crevices and in the shade. And as you're kind of walking and enjoying the beach, you'll just stumble across one. We have a new friend hanging out with us. Mr. Penguin over here. He's been chilling for a while now, very close. And how cool is this? We're literally on a beach with penguins. You don't get this everywhere in the world.
After a day with the penguins, we head back to the city via Chapman's Peak Drive, arguably one of the most scenic roads in the world.
This is a really popular day trip from Cape Town. You go to Boulders Beach to see the penguins, and there's a couple other little towns you can stop by, have lunch. And then on the way back into the city, you do the Chapman's Peak Drive, which is the road we're on right now. And it's just a really scenic, beautiful road. Cape Town is really renowned for its natural beauty, and it's easy to see why. The landscape here actually reminds me a little bit of San Francisco and the surrounding areas. It's a little bit more dramatically beautiful, I would say, but yeah, it feels a little bit like home.
This is the other Cape Town. Just 20 minutes away from the luxurious seaside is Langa, a township that tens of thousands call home. Lenyolo Lengisi, born and raised here, takes us through his community. He is the founder of Langa For Men, a nonprofit mentoring young men to combat gender-based violence.
This is Joe Slovo. This informal settlement was named after Joe Slovo. Joe Slovo was one of the anti-apartheid activists who dedicated his life in fighting the apartheid system. I believe that during the apartheid system, we were not allowed as black people to buy houses. That is why we're still living in the dense areas.
Townships are informal settlements built on the city's periphery, designed to keep racial groups separate from white urban centers. 40% of South African households, around 4.6 million families, live in townships just like this one.
And townships are not even meant for people to live in, because we're not meant to live in dense areas. We're meant to enjoy nature as other people that are enjoying nature in the country. But unfortunately, we are still battling that. We are living in the injustices that were caused by the colonization and apartheid system.
The nationalist government enacted apartheid laws in 1948, dividing South Africa into black, white, and colored. Your categorization dictated where you could live and walk, who you could marry, and how much money you could make. Apartheid has been abolished for over 30 years now, but its legacy is apparent in places like Joe Slovo and the massive economic divide that exists in the city.
If someone from here were to want to make the jump and have upward mobility and like eventually end up somewhere like Sea Point, for example, how possible would you say that is?
From this environment, it is a dream to live in a house like that one. There are chances, I'll say, in 100 people, maybe 2 out of 100. Like my friend here, Jay, he's a policeman. So I have high hopes that Jay will buy a house and get out of Langa, because townships are toxic.
How so?
You can die anytime. You can die anytime. This is the community kitchen actually.
Okay.
So we're opening on the 29th of this month for this year.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Dottie. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
So we provide food monthly for the community kitchen, and they're doing that voluntarily. They don't get paid.
We're gonna go see the community kitchen. It's been here for about 5 years now. So what would you say that the community here needs the most from a resource perspective?
The people of Joslavo don't know their rights. So I believe that if we can bring different organizations politically, and resources and push them and pump them in Joslavo, the people of Joslavo can be able to advocate, for the rights and the necessity that they need to have.
So you're saying it's not just access to resources, because access to resources at face value, if you don't know how to use them, it's still kind of worthless. So it's like access to resources, but also the education to know what to do with it and make more with it. Where's the government in this story?
We've never been supported by government. We get the food from foundations. They promise and then they don't come. This is the Cape Town that they don't...
That they don't show you, yeah?
Yes.
In the afternoons, Joe Slovo comes alive. Children spill out of schools and food vendors fire up their grills, filling the air with the scent of sizzling meat.
We're gonna pass the side where they make Smiley.
Okay.
Smiley is the sheep's head.
Oh, Smiley, it's called Smiley.
Because I need when it's there.
Yeah. That's morbid, man.
It is part of our indigenous meal. If there's a ceremony, they slaughter and then they cook all other parts. But a day after the ceremony, the old people will eat Smiley.
Smiley, or sheep's head, is first scorched to remove fur, slowly simmered in a spice broth, then grilled over an open flame for extra crispiness. Best enjoyed with a cold beer. Langa is a city within a city. There are pockets of more affluence alongside those who have nothing. And on its main streets, you'll find well-kept homes, art centers, nonprofits, and a museum showcasing South Africa's apartheid history. Like anywhere, it has layers and multiple stories that shape it.
Unlike the new level, now these slugs are metal. Shine brighter than your bezel as I beat up instrumentals. Your girl gave me head like she was busy going mental. Do it for your dogs, but you can't afford a kennel. I don't give a fuck if you're getting paid for socials. You a fat fuck, I get paid for vocals. Don't mean to stunt, they when there was something that I want. Got too many tracks for you to think you could go on a run. Even under a southern sun, never been southern sun. Get your bro wrong, thinking it could box with one of one. Call me Buffalo Bill, see how quickly my pockets full. Rock lethal hand should register my lethal skill. Enemies get killed the way I execute their will.
In another part of town, a creative tries to fight their way out. This is Hanover Park, one of Cape Town's most notorious districts. Developed in the 60s and 70s by the apartheid government, people classified as colored, neither black nor white, were forcibly relocated here. Zugdi, an up-and-coming fashion designer, grew up here and is working hard to achieve a better life for himself and his new family. Tell us about your designs. What inspires you?
My inspiration behind this is that I want to make it out of here. We come from a poor family and not many opportunities and things like that, so I need to make it out of here to give myself a better future and for my offspring.
What's your aesthetic inspiration?
So my aesthetic is high-end luxury streetwear. So what I'm doing is this is the intersection between luxury and street culture.
So does that upward mobility, this getting out of here, does that feel within reach now?
It doesn't feel in reach because I know it's possible. And I always speak about it, that miracles happen every day. You know what I mean? It can happen now in the next second. So I started my own fashion week. It's called the Apache Fashion Week. So that is where I sell all my garments all from the runway. We are going bigger and better this year. And I also have my own modeling academy. I have about 21 models signed to the agency.
So you're really kind of creating your own opportunities
Yes.
in a lot of ways, which is cool.
Yes.
So you got to be like creative and resilient. What's the name of this neighborhood?
So this is one of the most notorious areas that you can find in Cape Town. It's called Hanover Park. Gangsterism and drugs is like a big thing.
Right.
I feel like that is where I come in to use my fashion as a tool to show them that drugs and gangsterism is not the only thing.
They call me Bullet, my real name is Steven.
So we headed into one of the most notorious gangs. This is a guy, this is Monza. He's one of the elderly gangsters. There's also Shamil over there. I'm very proud of Shamil because he matriculated now the other day. There's also Uncle Ibrahim.
Hi, Uncle Ibrahim.
The shooting here is senseless. It's senseless. Yeah, it's like the norm of the day.
Like we don't even anymore run for the bullets. Like we stand still and we watch.
And on top of it, it's mostly the kids from our area.
So do you think any of the problems here are because of apartheid?
I could say yes, apartheid to a degree. The thing is this, apartheid had good laws, strict laws. Gangsters was afraid of the law. Today, no. The ANC must bring back the death penalty. Yeah. The ANC is actually messing up Mandela's legacy.
As members of the colored community, Zugdi and Keanu offer a unique perspective on how the legacy of apartheid lingers. Its impact, not just on history, but on colored people's daily reality.
They're only giving opportunity to black people. You know what I mean?
We're the minority, yeah.
So you feel like you're almost like not black enough to receive the benefits, but not white enough to get the white privilege.
Exactly.
So you're in this weird
Yeah.
middle ground, huh?
Exactly.
I'm getting emotional about that. Look at our area. You here now. You can see what are they doing? You know what I mean?
Where's the facilities?
Like you guys say, Cape Town is the most beautiful city. I think it's hard for us to view it that way, despite the aesthetic, because everywhere you look, you have to look over your shoulder.
Cape Town is famous for its stunning nature, and Newlands Forest is a beloved green space right inside the city. The perfect spot for hiking or enjoying a day with your family. We're here to meet Edwin. Born and raised in Cape Town, he grew up in the tough streets of the Cape Flats and made it out. He is now a father to a young daughter, a marketer at an international agency, and, like much of South Africa, an enthusiast of braai, or barbecue.
So today is Reconciliation Day. Do you mind telling us what that is?
Yeah, I believe it started to commemorate the end of apartheid in the country. It speaks to, if I think about Nelson Mandela and his principles of forgiveness and reconciliation and moving forward. And a big thing in South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, all different people coming together with a common goal and common cause.
And would you say the Rainbow Nation has been successful?
That's a difficult question because I still see and I still know of ills of the past and mindsets of the past that some people still hold to and seemingly struggle to let go of.
And can you tell me a little bit about the legacy of apartheid? How do you think South Africa has moved forward and how do you think it's still present?
It's still present in different ways. When you look at the land and who owns the land. Also, if you look at the disparity of the inequality in the country, the way I see it and my way of sort of bridging the gap is through education, educating yourself and making a better life for yourself.
So what have reparations looked like, if any?
In terms of something tangible happening within the local community where you physically see the change, that isn't happening.
Why do you love barbecue so much?
I love fire, and a lot of the times we do it in a setting like this. In nature, also, if it's a big sporting event, we come together and we braai and we have fun.
The current government has been in power for 26 years. It seems like a lot of people are unhappy. Why?
I think, like I said, with tangible differences that you can see and also the loss of trust within the ANC overall.
So essentially under them, things haven't gotten better.
There's a lot of corruption in South Africa in government where the money that is allocated for specific things doesn't really reach where it needs to reach because people are just grabbing and taking. With all the infighting and different factions within the party itself, it's a shell of what it used to be and what Mandela wanted it to be and what he stood for.
I'm really doing my part here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
For this beautiful
It's a
meal.
pleasure.
So we got the ostrich here, the steak here, and this is lamb sausage or beef sausage?
Beef sausage as
Beef
well.
sausage. It's looking amazing. So you no longer live in Cape Flats, and I know when you grow up in kind of difficult circumstances and tough neighborhoods, it can be easy to, kind of get stuck there, so to speak. So what would you say are the either decisions you made or influences you had that kind of allowed you to have mobility out of the neighborhood?
I think it starts with the home that I grew up in. So my parents, with having both parents in the home, they were pretty strict. But you definitely have to do something for yourself as opposed to just looking at your environment and saying, things look bad and I'm surrounded by all of this.
So do you feel optimistic about the future of South Africa?
Yes, I do. If I look at how people celebrate the success of the national rugby team and how united we can be and how united we can stand and celebrate together no matter of race, creed or culture. And that, for me, that's the real South Africa.
After parting ways with Edwin, we were spontaneously welcomed to a neighboring picnic area where Claude and Jeremy were celebrating their anniversary. Stew was cooked and served, conversations flowed, and we settled into the kind of easy, unplanned gathering that makes a place feel familiar.
I'm headed to my very first rugby game at the famous DHL Stadium here in Cape Town. I don't know anything about rugby, but here in South Africa, it's huge. And today, the local team is playing. This stadium is so iconic. It was built for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, and you can see it in the Cape Town skyline.
Rugby was introduced to South Africa by the British in the 1800s. The sport was deeply tied to the ruling white minority during apartheid, but today stands as a powerful symbol of unity and national pride, cutting across economic and racial lines.
I'm not the biggest sports person, but it's always nice to be in a stadium watching a game and being part of the atmosphere. It's really high energy. No idea what's going on, so cheers. Who are the teams playing today?
The Stormers and the Lions.
And are they both local teams?
Both local teams. Lions is from Joburg and Stormers from the Western Cape.
Okay, so you're supporting the Stormers. Who are you supporting?
Cape Town.
Woo!
Stormers. Yeah, man.
Would you say that rugby is South Africa's favorite sport?
100%. I mean, the Springboks have just taken us, put us on the map. Everybody loves rugby.
In terms of passion and interest, yeah, absolutely.
And would you say rugby brings South Africans together?
I think it does. It has, especially lately. It's brought them a lot closer together since there's been more integration in the national team. It's very mixed. It does bring them together. It's the one thing that does bring them together.
South Africa is a cultural powerhouse, and in recent years, one of its main exports is Amapiano, a new musical genre that simply means the piano in the Zulu language. Born on the streets of townships in the 2010s, it blends deep house, jazz, and kwaito, and is anchored by hypnotic log drum bass lines. A completely original sound from South Africa that is now played on dance floors all over the world. And here at Rand's, a legendary bar in the township of Khayelitsha, it is the beat of choice, what keeps the people up on their feet till all hours of the morning. The legacy of apartheid is apparent everywhere in Cape Town, but few places bear its scars as visibly as District 6. Once upon a time, District 6 was a diverse, bustling residential neighborhood, home to people of all colors and religions. In 1966, however, it was declared a whites-only area under the Group Areas Act. Over 60,000 residents were forcibly removed and relocated to the outskirts of town, while the neighborhood was systematically demolished over the following decades. The District 6 Museum preserves this history, with former residents serving as tour guides, sharing their first-hand stories.
So what was District 6 like before apartheid?
District 6 was a very vibrant place, diverse community, all cultures and faiths, people lived together.
And how old were you when you...
We moved out in 1971. I was 16 years old.
And what was it like when you first moved into the house? Do you remember what it felt like?
Yes, I moved in the first week, and the next week I went to live with my aunt, because to me it was too far because I work in town. It almost looked like a desert. There weren't even roads. It was more like gravel, sand, and things like that.
District 6 was never fully rebuilt. Today, much of its former residential areas lie empty, overgrown with weeds, the feeling quiet and desolate. Religious institutions remain, spared by the government after fierce pleas from the community, and efforts to return displaced families and develop housing have been slow but ongoing.
So when apartheid ended, did they give any of the former residents essentially reparations to move back?
They asked the people, those that come to the meetings, do they want to move back? My mother said she's not coming back. It won't be the same as a new generation. Because now we're over 30 years in the new township. You have to make friends all over again. So they gave my mother 17,500. And she died in 2005.
And how do you feel now overall about the removal of people from District 6?
Apartheid is gone, it's now democracy. But it didn't benefit in everybody. Okay, we are free now. It's free on paper, but are you really free?
Do you feel resentment about apartheid?
Not resentment, just disappointed. We expected much better than it's now.
So in a way, day-to-day life was kind of easier during that time.
Apartheid was bad. Apartheid isn't good to separate people. But one thing, we had jobs. Even if you didn't give you a lot of money, but you earned money.
So do you feel optimistic about the future?
I can't say, man. I don't know where this is going to.
It's a windy morning. Let's go hike the iconic Lion's Head Trail. Off we go. One of the very best parts about Cape Town is its proximity to nature. There's so many hiking trails all within the city, and Lion's Head is the most famous trail. You can see the summit from anywhere you are. And in classic fashion, we waited until our very last day in Cape Town to do this. But this is a must-do trail for anyone who visits here. We just started and the view is already so beautiful. You can see Table Mountain and the cable car is over there. The sea, it's gonna be really, really nice. We're really taking our time to enjoy the hike, taking it slow. I'm getting really sad about leaving Cape Town. There's not many places where I'm really reluctant to leave, but I mean, look at this. It's really a special place. It's not a super challenging trail, but it has a lot of adventurous fun bits, and it's hugging the side of the mountain, so you get sweeping views the entire way. Final stretch to the summit, and this is where it gets very adventurous. Whew. Yeah, I'll definitely climb some rocks here. Whew. That was an amazing hike, totally worth it. It's quick and dirty, about 60 to 90 minutes. Get beautiful views the entire way and a little bit of adventure at the end with the rock climbing and the ladder. And up here at the summit, you get 360 panoramic views of the city. And Cape Town has really stolen my heart. I think it's now the #1 most beautiful city in the world that I've ever been to. I mean, come on.
Where will Cape Town be in 10 years? The problems here are enormous. The landscape, breathtaking. And the kindness of the South African people, unmatched. Their generosity in sharing their stories, their food, their culture. It's a trip we're never going to forget.
when